Hello and welcome to Chrysler Center, where this is WCBN's coverage of Michigan Wolverines basketball. I'm Alex Kramer alongside Lucas Vargas, and we're here to bring you the first game of the Wolverines season against Northwood University. How you doing today, Lucas?
I'm doing well, and I am just as excited as you to get the first look at this 2018-2019 Michigan Wolverines men's basketball team coming off their Final Four run, see what the new team has to offer. And Northwood coming in from Midland, Michigan. This is a team that plays in the Great Lakes Intercollegiate Athletic Conference. They went 11-17 last season, lost to Western Michigan in a scrimmage earlier this year, 86-66, and they are coached by Jeff Rackaway.
Yeah, this is a Northwood team that looked pretty good against Western Michigan. Did lose 86-66, so when you're just looking at that score, it looks a little lopsided. But if you're looking at that first half, they hung in with them, only down 1 point at halftime. So this is a real good test for the young Wolverines. This is a team that lost a lot last year. Lucas, tell me about a couple of players that Michigan lost and what they're going to miss from them.
Well, obviously Mo Wagner, he's the first-round draft pick for the Los Angeles Lakers. Hasn't quite made the impact at the NBA level yet. Had to battle a couple injuries so far, but you lose the energy, you lose the rebounding, you lose the inside-out presence from the center position, and then you also lose Muhammad Ali Abdur-Rahman. He's a real steady hand in the Michigan lineup for 4 years. He's a guy that defended at a high level, could get you a bucket, always calm and collected. He's gone. And Duncan Robinson, another guy that came in, and he was just a spot-up shooter, improved every single year to the point where he was a very solid defender his senior year as well. Those are three very experienced, good leaders as well that Michigan has to replace, and they're going to look for Jordan Poole, who had the Houston shot, of course, to replace a lot of that production at the shooting guard position. They're going to look for John Teskey to really step up at center, and they're going to look at the freshmen. They're going to give some of these young guys a real chance to establish themselves. They're going to give Ignas Brazdeikis an opportunity, the Canadian, who could see time playing anywhere from the shooting guard to the power forward position. Brandon Johns had a real legitimate case to compete for Michigan Player of the Year in basketball. Did not get that award, but he was right up there as far as best players in the state. He'll get his chance. And Xavier Simpson, too. He's going to have to really emerge at the point guard position and build off his defensive abilities from last year.
Yeah, we've seen Xavier really take over on the defensive game, especially when you were looking at that tournament run last year, both Big Ten and nationally. But we need to see his offensive game step up. And Ignas, you mentioned he's going to need to take a big role in this team, and he is starting tonight against Northwood. So on giving the nod to the freshman over someone more experienced like Isaiah Livers. A little bit surprising, but it shows some faith in the young guys.
Yeah, and, I think it just goes back to the trust that John Beilein has in most of his guys. Last year, Duncan Robinson did take that bench role eventually, and, Robinson was still very involved in the success of the team. Obviously, Isaiah Livers is going to be a very important piece of this ball club as well. Don't get that wrong at all, but they're going to give Ignas an opportunity. I think he does probably help out John Teskey a little bit more as far as his ability to play outside of the paint. And, it also does give Isaiah Livers a chance to really shine in the second unit, too.
This is a little bit of a deeper team than we've seen from Michigan, and that can be attributed to its youth. And this is a big freshman class, 5 members of it. And this is going to be an interesting game to see a lot of them and see how Michigan looks coming off of that national running-up season. If you're just joining us, this is WCBN's coverage of Michigan Wolverine basketball. I'm Alex Kramer alongside Lucas Vargas, and we're here at Chrysler Center to bring you the University of Michigan Wolverines against Northwood University in the first game of the season for the Wolverines. This is the second game for Northwood. They played a tough loss against the Western Michigan Broncos during this week in an 86-66 loss, and we're just getting ready for tip-off here. As Lucas mentioned before, starting lineups for Michigan will read as follows: Charles Matthews, Jordan Poole, Xavier Simpson, Ignas Brazdeikis, John Teskey. And for the Northwood University, we have Trey McBride, David Jelinkic, Jacavion Lewis, Zach Allred, and Alec Marty. And we're underway here. Michigan wins the tip. Xavier Simpson's going to set up the offense now. Teskey with a screen here, passing along the three-point arc. Charles Matthews pass inside to Teskey's tipped a little bit, but a pass all the way across the court to Poole. Poole with the three, and that rattles out.
Poole not following his shot. Did have a chance at an offensive rebound, but good look for the opening possession.
Lewis is going to take it up for Northwood. Set up the offense. Now they'll get it in the paint. Teskey guarding him. And a shot there in the paint, and that's going to rattle home Northwood with the first points of the game. That's going to be 2-0 now.
Northwood's going to play a lot of guys tonight. Very balanced production across the board.
And now if you're just joining us, this is WCBN's production of Michigan basketball on 88.3 FM Ann Arbor. Michigan has already started here. Brzezinkas with the three. That rattles off. 2 quick threes for the Wolverines early. Both of them off the mark. Lewis will take the ball up for Northwood now.
Lewis, the freshman point guard, expected to be a big part of the Timberwolves offense.
And the Wolverines with a takeaway there. Simpson now will dribble it up. Another screen from Teskey. Simpson tries to pass it inside, but it looks like it was tipped a little bit, and that's going to be a turnover. Lewis again will bring it up. Looking for one of his teammates on the wing. Cannot get by Poole. Some good defense there from the sophomore. Now a little bit of a double there. Teskey gets back inside. Trey McBride has it, and Xavier knocks it away, but that's going to fall right out of bounds. Good defensive play there.
For the Timberwolves, their go-to guy is going to be Trey McBride, number 2. He is a junior guard from Cincinnati. Second team all-conference last year. All defensive team for the conference as well.
Second on the team in scoring in that first game against Western Michigan was McBride with 13 points. And now a drive inside for Northwood. And that's going to be a shot clock violation as a shot was just a second too late. And Michigan playing some okay defense here. But the offense just hasn't been there in the first 2 minutes of this game.
For Michigan, you figure this should be a really strong defensive club. Xavier Simpson should be able to neutralize any point guard. Charles Matthews with the length as well. And John Teskey, real rim protection.
Great pass inside from Xavier Simpson. Takes the shot and makes it. And that's going to be an and-one opportunity for the junior. Very mature cut there. And he's going to have a chance for a free throw. But this is something Michigan struggled with last year. Both Xavier Simpson and Charles Matthews were some of the worst free throw shooters in the Big Ten, if not the country. So Beeline has talked about how much they've worked on free throws this entire offseason. So let's see if the first one of the season can rattle home for them. And it does not. And some of those struggles are still persisting for Simpson. And it's tied up at 2 now with 18 minutes left in the first half. Bride has it on the wing. Picks up his dribble and will pass it across the arc. Steal from Poole and a pass to Brzezinkas. He's got an open lane and a wide open dunk for 2. He pumps up the crowd a little bit, and the first points for the freshman.
Yeah, emphatic dunk for the freshman Canadian. Iggy, very enthusiastic character, to say the least.
And from Canada, the highest rated recruit in Michigan's class. Lewis for 3 now for Northwood, and that's going to go off the mark. But Matthews with a tough rebound there. And Matthews will bring the ball up. Matthews flirted with the NBA draft last year, but did not end up declaring. And now he is back as the senior leader on this team. And he takes a shot and misses. And now he will inbound the ball.
Yeah, and Matthews really has an opportunity to be the leader, not only of Michigan, but really a standout player in the conference this season.
And now screen from Teskey, and that's going to be a reach-in foul on Northwood.
Yeah, Alec Marty just not quite quick enough to stay in front of Xavier Simpson, who will be looking to take it to the rim where he's much more comfortable as opposed to shooting outside shots.
Not the best shooter, but he did have some good moments in the tournament last year. Passes it into Teskey, and Xavier Simpson will take it right by the M up top and start over with the offense. Passes it to Poole. Screen from Teskey, and Poole with the shot, and that's off the mark. But Matthews with another good rebound. Matthews going to go inside, and that's going to be looks like a charge on Matthews. A little too aggressive there.
And Matthews lowered his shoulder and just a little bit too aggressive, as you mentioned. Good job getting the rebound, but going hard to the rim, a little too hard. Jordan Poole really trying to get himself going right off the bat, shooting behind a John Teskey screen. So a contested shot probably could get a better look.
0 for 2 now for Poole. With that foul, Matthews will check out of the game, and into the game is sophomore Isaiah Livers, who played a lot last year. Surprising not to see him in the starting lineup. Step back jumper from McBride. That's going to be an air ball. A little bit of a scrum for the rebound, and that'll go off of Northwood.
And Ignas Brzezinskis doing a really nice job contesting that shot too. He provides such great positional flexibility, and his ability to switch is going to be very, very helpful for the Wolverine defense.
Xavier Simpson will now bring the ball up. Passes it to Brzezinskis. Brzezinskis will drive in, loses the ball, puts it up though, and that'll find its way home. And that's going to be his second basket of the game, 4 points for him. Michigan leads 6-2.
Yeah, really strong drive. And finishing with the right hand, his opposite hand. Very crafty, very strong.
Now Lewis will take the ball up. Has a mismatch on Brzezinskis, but some good defense there by Poole will knock that ball out of bounds. And we will take our first time out of the game at the under 16-minute timeout, 15:56, left in this half. Michigan leads 6-2. And we've only had a couple minutes of Michigan basketball this year, but Lucas, what have you seen thus far?
Well, encouraging to see Jordan Poole getting active defensively already. He's had a couple deflections, that steal and pass ahead to Ignas Brzezinskis. And, you know, I think right away you just see the energy this freshman's going to play with and the impact he's going to have in the starting lineup. You know, anytime a guy has his name tattooed across his chest, I think you know you've got quite a character on your hands.
Yeah, it's definitely a power move, to say the least.
But John Teskey, I mean, you see him already just being used primarily for ball screens. And, yeah, his size and strength is something that Michigan hasn't really had for a long time. Just that true back-to-the-basket big. Probably since Jordan Morgan, really. Michigan hasn't had that true center for quite a while.
Mo was certainly not that, but the Wolverines will miss his presence and his energy from last year. Really, I think it's fair and easy to say he was the heart of that Michigan team and played with a lot of energy, a lot of passion, and more than really anybody else got Chrysler rocking, especially in that UCLA game last year. And he will surely be missed, but some of these freshmen looking to take over now, and we've seen Brzezinskis already.
I mean, he's definitely going to have a role in replacing the emotion that Mo played with, and yeah, I think he's embracing that as well. And a lot of the press conferences, not only him but his teammates also have said that this guy's going to play with his emotions on his sleeve. Other guys such as Jordan Poole and Isaiah Livers also kind of bring that personality as well. Xavier Simpson, I think, brings it in a little bit of a different way, though, kind of the toughness that he's going to play with, especially on the defensive end. He's obviously going to be an in-your-face defender, and he'll let you know about it. All the reports in practice seem to indicate him going at some of these freshmen, especially guys like Colin Castleton, maybe a guy that won't play as much, but he's going to get these guys ready to play Big Ten basketball.
Castleton got called out by Xavier Simpson. A couple of these media days, Simpson called Castleton's soft, so.
But, I mean, that's all in good nature, too. I don't think Castleton's going to take it the wrong way at all. That's just Xavier Simpson trying to get this kid ready to play.
Trying to motivate your teammates, and that's what you want a good team leader to do.
I've also heard other times Xavier Simpson say that Colin Castleton is a unique character himself that will be embraced by the team.
One of the taller freshmen in this recruiting class, and Northwood will inbound the ball. A shot there from McBride, but a great job by Teskey and Brzezinskis to affect that shot. A rebound and a shot and another rebound, and this one will find its way home. McBride with 3 shots on that possession, and he will cut the deficit to 2. Isaiah Livers now bringing the ball up, and will pass it to Poole. Poole looking to drive. Will pass it inside to Teskey. Teskey with his first shot that will not find its way home.
Good catch by Teskey, unable to finish, but they're going to look to get him on the rolls to the rim.
And Northwood with an easy pass inside, and that's going to find its way home for an and-one opportunity, and that will tie the game.
Kind of surprised at the success Northwood is having so far in the paint. I mean, that's the second bucket for number 13, David Jelinek, and he's junior forward from Prague, Czech Republic. So some international flair there, but also the offensive rebounding. He was active on the boards, getting McBride his first bucket. That's 6 points in the paint now.
And, you know, really the biggest part of Teskey's game has been his defense. So it's fair to assume that the Wolverine faithful are hoping for that to come out from his starting time. And Xavier Simpson attacks the basket with ease, gets straight by Lewis, and it's an easy layup there for 2. That's going to be his 4th point of the game.
He's going to be a very strong and aggressive driver this season. He's going to get his points at the rim.
Bride with the pass to the inside. Teskey has checked out of the game. Poole with running inside. That's a little bit of a jelly layup there from Poole, but that's going to be an extra 2 for the Wolverines.
Yeah, and on the other end, the miss, Jack Ammerman, a freshman guard from Ann Arbor, Michigan, actually missing that last 3-point shot for the Timberwolves.
He led Northwood in scoring against Western Michigan with 15. So he's definitely a scoring player, and that's McBride with the shot now, and that's going to find its way home. That's going to be 10-8 now. Northwood is trailing, 14-10 left in this one. Xavier will rush the ball up the court and slow it down to set up the offense. Northwood with a couple of subs ready to check in. Austin Davis has checked in for John Teskey. Didn't get much playing time last year, but with Mo leaving, should be in line for much more playing time. And a pass inside to Davis, and Davis will slam it home. His first points of the season.
Great job rolling to the rim by Austin Davis, and Xavier does a good job looking off the pass, too, before throwing it.
Now Lewis will take the ball up court, guarded by Xavier. And Simpson. Good defense, looking for a pass inside, but Davis denies. And McBride has it again, Poole guarding. Poole knocks it away. McBride will get his dribble back. Now McBride on Davis. Davis with the block. McBride will get the rebound, though, and then a shot from 3 will not find its way home, but a shot at the buzzer off the rebound will. And that's Jelinek again for his 6th point of the game.
I believe that's his 3rd offensive rebound at least already. Ammerman missing another shot, but Timberwolves really crashing the offensive glass.
Jelinek has been the MVP for them, and the pass inside to Livers. Livers on McBride, and Livers just powers it over him. He had a height advantage, a weight advantage there, and that's going to count for 2.
The strong finish by Livers, hitting that diagonal cut to the opposite block.
Lewis with the drive inside. An awkward shot there, and Davis just engulfs that rebound and pass up to Brzdakis. Brzdakis driving inside, and a nice layup there. Goes in, and the and one. Flexes on the crowd. And Brzdakis is having some fun now.
Oh, well, he's just showing off his ability to just affect the game. Going on offense, not many freshmen have that ability to really get that drive in transition and finish with their left hand. Obviously, he's a left-handed player, but just his ability to kind of start and stop multiple times on a drive to get the angle he needs to finish. Impressive.
And let's see if some of these freshmen can do a little bit of a better job at free throw shooting. Some of these upperclassmen. The first one for Brzdakis on the season is up and good. And that is, I believe, the first made free throw of the Michigan season. And we should grow to appreciate these, because if we've learned anything from last year, they may be few and far between. Eli Brooks getting his first minutes of the game, as Simpson will take a little bit of a break.
Yeah, interesting to see him as the first option at backup point guard.
But it could be a battle between him and David DeJulius, the freshman point guard, number 0, who has not seen any time today, but could see some time later. And a steal there from Jordan Poole. Jordan Poole with the dunk, and that's going to push the lead to 19-10 for the Wolverines with 12:10 left in the first half.
And Poole, once again, active on defense. Really, really encouraging to see him engaged on both ends of the floor.
Was the definition of inconsistent last year, but has looked very strong in this game. Now Northwood will run a little bit of offense here. Livers on the wing playing some defense. Not able to get around him is Alman. And now pass to the inside. That's a steal from Davis. And a pass to Livers, who will take it up. Looks like Northwood has a player that's hurt. Brzdakis with the 3. That's off. Davis is able to tip it. And we're going to take the under 12-minute timeout now with an injured player on Northwood.
Yeah, that looks like number 33, Kevin Calhoun. He's a big boy, 300-pound center from Cleveland, Ohio. It's like he is down.
Sophomore looked like he got hit in the eye, and he fell to the court now. So we're going to hope that he's okay. But Brzdakis has really had a coming out party here. 7 points off 3 of 4 shooting. That was his first miss on that last 3-point attempt. And you'd like to see a little bit of a better shot there with a 5-on-4 advantage, but still you got to love what you're seeing out of the freshman.
Well, he's definitely not shy about it at all, and he is going to hunt his shot and hunt his drives the best that he can. He is a little bit older as far as age goes for a freshman, so he doesn't have to really act like one, and he really does appear to be a lot more comfortable than most freshmen would be probably at this stage.
He definitely looks like he fits in, at least physically, and early in this game at least, he looks like he's mentally ready to take on at least a share of the load that's left by Abdur Rahman and Duncan Robinson. And that's going to be very important if they can add another piece like that to the puzzle. And a great job by Beeline getting him into the program. A higher rated recruit, something we haven't seen in a couple years here in Ann Arbor, but it's great to see.
Yeah, and I mean, coming from Canada, sometimes you don't really know what to expect, but I have noticed, there's a very interesting trend in college basketball over the last few years, and that's the talent that Canada has been kind of pumping into the United States. I mean, you look at this year alone, Ignas Brzdakis, RJ Barrett, Lindell Wigington at Iowa State is a real name that people should be watching.
The Florida point guard, too, Andrew Newberg, I believe.
Yeah,
there's a lot of talent up there.
But even guys from last year, too, like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, a Canadian player, O'Shea Brissett at Syracuse, going to be a real big part of their success. He's a Canadian guy as well. But just the recent success of Canadian basketball to develop these kids into at least productive college players and give them a chance at NBA has been pretty impressive in my opinion.
Love to see Beeline tapping into that recruiting source. Michigan very close to Canada. So a good home for some of these Canadians. And Brzdakis, the first example that we've seen in a couple of years from Michigan taking advantage of that. Michigan's lineup now is Brooks, Poole, Livers, Matthews, and Davis. Northwood passing the ball around the 3-point arc. Looking to pass it inside now. Allerman on the outside. Drives inside. Matthews on the defense. Matthews with the block. Will pass it out to Brooks. Brooks passes it to Livers. Livers has a 2-on-1. The alley-oop to Poole is off. And Livers now with a 3-point attempt off the rebound will fall off. But Allred is there for their board. Now Northwood will bring the ball back, speeding it up a little bit. Northwood looking for a pass inside, but Davis is denying again. Good defense here from the Wolverines, and they'll force a pass out of bounds. And that'll be another turnover for Northwood.
Yeah, Danny Kalp, a freshman for the Wolves, unable to connect on his pass attempt. But this is a Northwood team that we've already seen a lot of guys cycled in. They're going to play a lot of bodies this season.
And we have another freshman sighting here. Brandon Johns from East Lansing is checking into the game for Austin Davis. He looks like he's going to play center here, so a little bit of a smaller lineup. Livers outside, pass to Brandon Johns on the inside. The freshman's getting a first look now. Spin move, loses the ball, and it just a little too much out of control right there.
Yeah, a little too much trying to hunt his first basket.
Northwood now bringing it up, and a drive inside. The shot is no good, but a rebound there. Going to fall to Rea. Passing it around the arc again. For a pass inside and cannot find it. Simpson on the defense now. Switches, and now Brooks will guard. Looks like Marty is now in for Northwood. He's driving. Brandon Johns comes with the double. And now a shot there is blocked by Johns. And Livers will look to run for the Wolverines. A shot from deep from Matthews, and that's not going to hit any part of the basket. And the rebound goes to Alec Marty. Marty will bring the ball up. Livers on him. Switch to Matthews. Pass inside is going to find its way out of bounds, but they're going to call a hold, looks like, on Xavier Simpson. So it'll be Northwood ball.
I think something to notice right off the bat for this Michigan team is the ability of basically everybody on the court to dribble the ball up the floor, maybe outside of Austin Davis and John Teskey. So we've seen multiple players bring the ball up the floor on offense, and then on defense, their ability to switch basically everything.
It looks like Ja'Kavion Lewis will pass the ball in. A drive inside will be off the mark. And it's Jack Ammerman taking that one. Xavier Simpson now will bring the ball up. Looking for a drive to the inside. Passes to Matthews. Matthews back to Simpson. Livers comes with the screen. Simpson drives the ball inside, is able to get by his man easily, but is held by Ammerman. And that's going to put Xavier Simpson on the line for two.
And Xavier Simpson has been matched up with Jack Ammerman and Ja'Kavion Lewis most of the night. Two freshman guards that are just quite frankly going to have their hands full with what is expected to be an all Big Ten caliber season for Xavier Simpson, offensively and defensively.
And this is his year to break out. And he already missed the first free throw. Let's see if he can make the second one of the season. He cannot. And he'll get one more attempt.
Now Northwood's going to go a little bit bigger. We're going to bring Jelinek back, who's already had numerous offensive rebounds.
Jelinek played very well today. Has 4 points thus far, and Simpson with the next one and makes it for his first free throw of the season. It's going to give him his 5th point of the game. 20-10, Michigan leads with 9 minutes left. Lewis with the drive, dump off to Jelinek, and that's going to find its way home. 20-12 now, Michigan leads.
Yeah, and Jelinek continues to be a presence down low for the Timberwolves on a little dump down pass.
Ammerman guarding Eli Brooks now. Eli Brooks will drive inside, loses the ball. Pass outside to Livers, though, in the corner, and that's going to bounce off the boards. And Brandon Johns looks like he got boxed out there hard and could not come up with the board. Has it on Johns. Quick little hook there, and that's not going to find its way home. So Matthews will dribble the ball up. Michigan playing a lot faster now. Matthews drives to the rim and is held by Jelinek. And that's going to be 2 free throws for Matthews.
And now Matthews will get his chance to see if improvement has been made over the offseason. No. Oh, well, I guess they will be inbounding it. Called baseline.
Looks like they called it on the floor. Correct myself on that one.
Could have gone either way.
Teskey checks back into the game for Brandon Johns. Still no Castleton sighting amongst the big men. But Eli Brooks is getting a long run here.
They're playing that 2-point guard lineup here with Eli Brooks and Xavier Simpson.
Good to see him getting a little more trust. Brooks drives inside. The alley-oop to John Teskey. And that's going to be 2 more for the Wolverines.
Well, and passes like that are going to keep Eli Brooks on the floor as well.
Great pass, great find. Made a cut with his head up and was able to find Teskey for the dunk. Now Lewis will take the ball up. Passes it off to Solomon. Now Solomon with the drive. Xavier Simpson on him. Some great defense by Simpson, and that's going to go out of bounds off of Solomon, who fell to the ground. And that's going to be the under 8 timeout with 7:50 left. Michigan leads 22-12. Some good basketball we've seen from the Wolverines, but Northwood's still hanging around here. They don't look too outmatched thus far.
Yeah, 22-12. The Timberwolves keeping it relatively close, but Xavier Simpson continues to show his defensive capabilities. Does a great job showing his hands to not draw a foul, keeping his chest strong. And, you know, while he is probably able to overmatch most of these Timberwolves defenders, it's just great to see the intensity that he's playing with, even in an exhibition game like this.
And really the difference thus far has been that Michigan defense holding Northwood to 5 of 18 on all field goals today. That's 28% with 6 turnovers now for them. Michigan been far better, 10 of 17, so 59%, only 2 turnovers. So some very good defense from the Wolverines, which is very comforting for Wolverine faithful to see. And this is a team that the defense was thought to be relied on. You have Xavier Simpson, John Teskey, 2 great defenders. You have a really long NBA caliber player in Charles Matthews. And you're hoping that Livers and Poole could take a step forward on the defensive front. And really, we've seen that from Jordan Poole thus far. So very encouraging first 12 minutes of basketball for the Wolverines.
Yeah, Jordan Poole been very, very locked in on defense. He has been on the bench for a little bit, but during the time he's been on the floor so far, very active hands, couple steals, couple deflections. Great to see out of the sophomore guard, really building his game both ways. And, you know, they were able to hire Coach Luke Yaklich a season ago, pull him away from Illinois State, where he served as a student manager when he was actually a student for the Redbirds, but able to pull him away from Normal, Illinois into Ann Arbor, Michigan, and he has just done phenomenal things for this Wolverine defense. And yeah, I mean, you expect in year 2 with his system, just another year of that for these Wolverines to really get that defense down. John Beilein did seem somewhat concerned about it at a press conference recently, but so far I think you have to be encouraged from what you've seen.
We're just about ready to get back underway here.
Coming out of
Simpson still in the game, so still going with that 2-point guard lineup.
It'll be Eli Brooks, Xavier Simpson, Isaiah Livers, John Teskey, and Charles Matthews on the floor out of the timeout. Livers, dump it to Simpson.
Simpson playing on the outside, pass inside to Teskey. Teskey with another dunk. It's his 4th point of the game. Push the lead to 24-12 as Michigan will double Northwood's point total.
Teskey really mobile for a big guy like him and doing a great job rolling to the rim on a consistent basis.
Bride now has it on top. Passes to Ammerman, who passes it to Zach Allerud, who runs in and makes the shot. Excuse me, that's going to be Ammerman. 4-2, that's going to be 24-14 now. Michigan still leads. Xavier Simpson taking it up. Pass to Livers on top. Livers drives in, puts his shoulder down, and that's going to be a charge. And it looks like Zach Allerud took that charge. Looks to be a little bit shaken up, but a great job by him setting his feet and taking the charge.
Great job. Perfect defense by Allred, and Livers clearly extending the arm. Clear charge, easy call. On the other end, though, Jack Ammerman, the freshman from Ann Arbor, got to feel good for him to get a layup here on the Michigan court.
But it's Skyline in Ann Arbor. Very good high school guard who made the transition to Northwood. Now McBride has it up top for Northwood. Passes it off to Ammerman. Ammerman with the alley-oop attempt to McBride. And that was just a little bit too high. It's going to go out of bounds. But
Northwood's been trying to set that up for a while. Get a pass away and then back cut with a screen from the center. Almost had it there. Pass a little too high.
Got to like the aggression from Ammerman and McBride. A little bit of a statement here. Brzdakis checks back in. As does Poole. That's going to be a foul on McBride as he looks like he hit Poole in the face.
Well, McBride's a good defender in his own right. All defense for the Great Lakes Conference. But clearly Jordan Poole is gonna challenge him to be his very best.
Athletic specimen that is Jordan Poole. Will pass it into Xavier Simpson. Lewis is guarding Simpson. Brzdakis with the screen. Brzdakis drives inside. It's a layup for him, and that's good. His 9th point of the game, getting closer and closer to double figures. As Lewis will bring it up. Calls for a screen now. Going to be big boy Kelvin Calhoun II who sets the screen there. Ammerman has it, the left wing. Has Poole on him. And that's going to be hold there on Brzdakis. Off-ball foul there for the freshman, not what you'd like to see.
Yeah, but on the other end, you do have to give him credit. I mean, this guy basically playing the power forward position right now, and he's able to catch a pick and pop, pump fake, and drive through the rim. Finish through contact. Could have been a foul call. I mean, it's impressive stuff.
Very impressive showing on the offensive end of the court for Brzdakis, and a deep pass there for our Northwood past half-court line, but McBride will corral it and bring it up. Matthews on it. McBride with the shot. High-arcing shot, but that Brzdakis will come down with the rebound and pass it off to Poole, who will bring it up. Poole, one of the many players brought up today. Poole will drive. And a nice little floater there. Nothing but net. That's going to push the lead to 28-14 with 5:30 left in this half. A quick shot there from Ammerman. That's going to knock off the backboard, and Simpson will take it up. Simpson looking down court, but will slow it down. Instead, pass to Matthews, who's just going to put his head down and drive. And that's going to go in, and that's going to be an and one opportunity for Matthews, so he's going to go back to the line.
Michigan, just such an athletic team. Anytime they're in transition, it's going to be hard to stop. Northwood's got to get back in transition a lot faster to force Michigan to try and score through their half-court offense, where at least you have a hope to maybe force Xavier Simpson or Charles Matthews into a long three-point shot.
And as Matthews steps to the line, we see the third freshman in this unit about to check into the game, as David DeJulius will check in for Xavier Simpson. So we see the third point guard in this lineup get some run here, and he will match up with Lewis now.
The freshman versus freshman. Lewis from Flint, Michigan.
On McBride. McBride passes it off to Ammerman. Ammerman dumps it off to the left wing to Lewis. And now shot there from Northwood, and the rebound from McBride finds its way home. And a great job there by Trey McBride following that shot.
Yeah, he has been very active on the boards as well this game. He's going to be the clear leader for this team, so good to see out of him the effort.
Poole has it on the other end now, and a shot from Poole is not going to be good as Lewis gets the rebound.
And Jordan Poole a little aggressive in his shot hunting. Very contested three-point shot as well.
And he makes up for it on the other end as he sets his feet and takes a charge.
Well, as we mentioned, the defensive intensity is playing with. Great to see, and I think you're going to live with shots that are contested if you're going to be as engaged as he is so far on defense.
Big difference from last year, but it's going to be the first touch of the year and of the Michigan career for David DeJulius now. He's going to drive it up, pass it off to Poole. Charles Matthews gets it next, and a screen for Poole now. And he'll get the ball off of it. Couple of dribble moves, dumps it off to Brzdakis. Brzdakis will take his man Allred into the paint, and that's going to be offensive foul on Brzdakis this time as he really lowered his shoulder, and Allred went flying through the air. And might have been a little bit of a flop, but
might have been, but either way, Brzdakis didn't really have anywhere to go with it. Good defense by Allred, who is a senior, so pretty experienced basketball player. Iggy just has to know to, pass it out and then cut outside, get another drive into the lane.
And McBride has it now, passes it off. Allred's going to drive it now and just throw it up on Davis. He lost his footing there, and that's going to be an offensive foul. So that's going to be Michigan basketball that takes us to the under 4-minute timeout now. 3:57 left in this first half. 31-16. Michigan leaves Northwood University. You are listening to 88.3 WCBN FM Ann Arbor. This is coverage of Michigan basketball. And as we have just under 4 minutes to play in this half, what are the big things you've taken away from the first really 20 minutes of Michigan basketball?
Well, I like the options available to Michigan in transition, especially with some of these athletic lineups they can put on the floor. I mean, when you have Ignas Brzdakis playing the power forward position, technically, I mean, that is an athletic mismatch that can be exploited. He's clearly strong enough to hold his own with a lot of these post players as well. And additionally, going off of that, I think that the defensive intensity that a lot of these guys have played with early on is really, really encouraging to see. I think that for the most part, some of these foul calls and whatnot will take care of themselves. But other than that, I'd say you got to be pretty pleased with what you've seen coming out of the gate.
Just an interesting note, both sides have yet to make a three-pointer this game. Michigan 0 for 5 from the three-point arc, and Northwood 0 of 3. So interesting to see. Neither team really found any motivation, anything going with them on that from three. And that's been a big worry about the Wolverines all offseason. They lost really three of their three best three-point shooters from last year's roster: Mo Wagner, Duncan Robinson, and Muhammad Ali Abdul-Rahman. All three are gone. All three were reliable three-point shooters, and it's really unknown who's going to take that step and become the guy who can take that shot for the Wolverines.
Well, I think Iggy is a guy that they'll be pretty confident with shooting the ball, and Jordan Poole is going to be their go-to shooter. I mean, he's going to be the guy that probably leads this team as far as three-point shooting goes, but he has forced some shots from downtown so far, so I think he's probably 0 of 3 right now from the three-point line, and all three of those shots have been contested. So, you like to see him get an open look or two to really get himself going before he starts taking some of those highlight reel shots. But right now Michigan has looked good driving to the basket, and I think that's a really encouraging sign because this is a team that's going to be able to shoot, and the driving and kicking is going to be just that much more threatening and open up that three-point shooting even more.
And they have a lot of players who can drive. The Julius will bring it up and pass it inside to John Teske. Teske's guarded by Calhoun, but Teske throws it away to Trey McBride. Trey McBride guarded by Matthews running down the floor and will make an easy layup over him. The length of Matthews didn't do him much good on that one. And that'll bring the score to 31-18. Michigan still leads. David DeJulius will bring it up the court. Take a screen from Teske, and we'll take a three, but that's going to be a moving screen on Teske.
And back-to-back turnovers for John Teske. Now, Coach Beeline is not going to be happy with that. Austin Davis will check in.
And Teske getting a stern talking to from Beeline. Beeline really needs Teske to take a step forward down low, as he's really the only known option they have down there. Austin Davis hasn't played much, but Beeline has given Davis a lot of praise, not even just this offseason, but last offseason as well, even though he didn't play. Got a lot of praise. Good hard worker, according to Beeline. As DeJulius will check out, Xavier Simpson will check in. And on that last play, Ammerman threw the ball off of Jordan Poole's leg, and now Ammerman will pass the ball into Calhoun. Calhoun, guarded by Davis, will dump it off. And now McBride will get it on the top of the key. Pass back to Ammerman. Ammerman will look to shot, will not take a shot. He'll pass it to Culp. The freshman will take it. And Xavier Simpson comes down with the rebound but loses it. Goes right to Calhoun, who dumps it off to McBride, who will have an easy dunk here. That's going to be a quick 4 points for Northwood now.
John Beeline does not like these turnovers one bit. That's quite a few turnovers in a short amount of time, and that's allowed Northwood to climb back into this game, now only down 11.
And a quick pass inside to Brzdakis will be an easy layup, and that'll make him the first Michigan player into double figures in this season, as he has 11.
Michigan loves that diagonal cut across the lane on ball reversal. Good job by Brzdakis getting open, and good job throwing the pass, too, by Jordan Poole.
Ammerman guarded by Poole. Drive inside. And that's going to be an and one opportunity for Alec Marty, the senior from Midland, Michigan. And going to push the score to 33-22 as Northwood's making a little bit of a run here.
And Northwood's really picked up the intensity coming out of that 4-minute timeout. Really clawed their way back into this game in a lot of ways here by forcing turnovers. And, they're going to be aggressive. They're going to play tough, as they showed in the Western Michigan game. Michigan's going to have to really put their foot down to make them go away.
And Eli Brooks will check back into the game as Xavier Simpson will take a break. 2:19 left in this first half. 33-23 is the score. Michigan leads as Brooks will take the ball up the court.
Be Eli Brooks' real opportunity to play point guard alone.
Matthews has it and will drive in. It's going to be a hold there on Trey McBride. That is McBride's second foul of the game. No one really in foul trouble on either side this far, but both teams are now in the bonus. So Charles Matthews will again go to the free throw line, where I don't think any Michigan fan is very comfortable with him being.
Well, he's gonna get fouled a lot this year, so he's gonna have to find ways to produce from the free throw line.
That one is good from Matthews.
I believe that makes him 3 or 4 now on the night.
That is, yes, you're right. That's 3 or 4 on the night. Important for Matthews to be able to make these free throws.
He's going to get to the foul line early and often in games, just the way he plays attacking the basket. He's got to find ways to produce.
And at the end of them, too, he'll be the one that teams will be looking to foul. And he makes both on this possession. 35-23, Michigan leads, 2:10 left in the first half. Trey McBride will take a break.
Cashing in on a 1-on-1, huge for his confidence as well. He's now 4 or 5 from the free throw line, so looks like he has made some sort of development in that area.
Very important to see from him. And now Northwood will take over, passing around the arc. Get it inside to Calhoun. Calhoun on Davis. Big man against big man, and the pass outside to it looks like Culp with that shot. Excuse me, that's going to be Allreed. Allreed makes that one. No, that's going to be, yes, he made that one, and he gets an and one opportunity. So it's going to be 35-25. Northwood hanging around that 10-point deficit mark Not able to get any closer, but not falling behind that.
And Allred has a chance to pull it into single digits here. He's been really active, the senior, averaging 10 points a game last year.
And that is off, but Poole gets the rebound here and looks to slow it down. Looks like Beeline was yelling at him. So Brooks takes a three here and makes it the first points of his season.
A really confident shot by Eli Brooks, catching and shooting right away.
He was making a lot of those in pregame warm-up, so it's good to see him translating into the game. And Eli Brooks taking a big step forward this year would do wonders for this Michigan team.
So the depth it would provide would be crucial.
That's going to be a foul on the inside on, excuse me, that's going to be a foul on Eli Brooks. Oh, no, excuse me, that is on Austin Davis on the inside. Got a hold there on Calhoun, and it looks like Calhoun's going to head to the stripe.
Yeah, Calhoun's a load on the low block at 300 pounds, so
he's a big boy.
Austin Davis pretty strong himself, but 300 pounds is a new level, and you're going to have to do your work early to get him out of position.
Got to move your feet fast and keep a tough stance on the low block, but Calhoun will go to the stripe for a 1-and-1 opportunity. And Brandon Johns will wait to check into the game for Brasdakis.
No,
he came in a little bit too early there for the ref's liking. First one from Calhoun is off. And now Brandon Johns will check in for Brasdakis.
Northwood's in the double bonus, so
they'll get two. And the second one now for Calhoun. Calhoun, no points on the day, but 2 assists. And the second one is up and good. 38-26 now with 1:20 left in the first half. Brooks will bring the ball up. Lewis guarding him. Matthews has it, pass to Davis. Davis to Johns. Johns down low to Charles Matthews. Charles Matthews with a spin and attempted smash. But a foul there from Alec Marty. And really the only way Charles Matthews was not going to dunk that ball with some emphasis was the foul there. So maybe an arguably smart play there from Alec Marty.
Well, that had everything from Matthews. The look off, the ball fake, the spin baseline, and almost the finish. Now he finds himself back at the free throw line.
2 more opportunities to improve that mark on the year. And the first one is up and no good. 0 of 2 from the three-point arc. Something he said he was going to improve off of last season. Haven't seen it this game, but it is still early. Second one for Matthews is up and good. (39-26) the score. Michigan leads with 1 minute left in the first half. As Lewis will direct the offense for Northwood. Looking for Calhoun, cannot find him. Allred now to Ammerman. Ammerman drives inside. The scoop layup is off, and Davis with the rebound. Calhoun could not come up with it. Poole will slow it down. Calm and composed will bring it up the court. Poole waiting for the offense to set up as Brooks and Davis will switch sides. Now Brooks comes up for the screen. Poole undecided if he wants to take it. Pass it to Matthews, who passes it back to Poole. Poole running the offense for the Wolverines. Shot clock running down as Matthews now with a step-back jumper in the corner and makes that one. And now Northwood will take a timeout.
Yeah, Michigan electing not to go 2 for 1 on that possession, but still able to cash it in. Once again, some series of drives that threaten the defense towards the basket is going to open up more driving lanes for teammates. Jordan Poole capable of scoring inside or out. And then when Matthews gets it, there's even more space to operate on a scrambling defense. I think that's a really good combination that Michigan has. And they're, showing their ability to go late into a shot clock offense right now in this exhibition. That's something that they're going to need in Big Ten play.
We've seen a lot of good things from Michigan. You are listening to WCBN FM Ann Arbor 88.3. I'm Alex Kramer alongside Lucas Vargas, bringing you Michigan basketball against Northwood University, the first game of the season in an exhibition match for the Wolverines. 41-26 the score here in Chrysler Center, with 17 seconds counting down now, as it looks like Northwood will take the last shot of the half. 7 left now. A screen from Calhoun. Now looks for a pass off of Lewis, but a shot now from Allred will knock off, and that's going to end the half for the Wolverines. 41-26 is the score going into halftime. A competitive but strong half from the Wolverines. Northwood looks a little bit physically overmatched here. What did you see in that half, Lucas?
Well, yeah, towards the end, Northwood did kind of threaten a little bit, bringing it back to about 10, but Michigan able to extend back to around 15 here to end. And, I think there's some good takeaways as far as what worked on offense, what maybe didn't, and a lot of positives, though, for especially on the offensive end. You saw Ignis Brezdinkis really asserting himself. You saw good looks in transition, the athleticism. A couple times where Michigan turned the ball over back to back, and that put them in some trouble. But other than that, really aggressive drives to the basket have opened up the floor for Michigan.
And a lot of good from the Wolverines. Northwood had some strong plays from their entire team. Trey McBride leads them with 10 points. Jelinek leads them with 2 rebounds. And their big man, Kelvin Calhoun II, leading them in assists with 2. So you love to see the big man getting some action outside of the paint. And a lot of players have played for Northwood. But those are the leaders so far. For the Wolverines, Brezdinkis leads with 11 points, Simpson with 3 rebounds, and Poole with 5 assists. So you're seeing Poole pay a lot more in that lead guard role. And Xavier Simpson's obviously going to play when he's out there, but Poole looks like he's really taking that backup option there by storm, and that's going to be very important to see, as we've been talking a lot about 2-point guard offenses with Simpson and Brooks, but maybe you have that potential there for Poole to take over at sometimes and bring the ball up.
Well, something that I was talking about earlier today was this. I think a lot of times Jordan Poole had very high expectations coming into the season, right? You make that shot against Houston to keep the season alive. And there were flashes earlier as well in the year where he was kind of like a microwave, where he would just heat himself up, and there were games where he was unstoppable. There were also games where he was just not at that same level. But he had very high expectations. Can he be consistent? Can he be engaged on defense? Can he be a playmaker for others? And so far you've seen that. His 3-point shot is not falling, but that has not affected the rest of his game at all. In fact, I'd say his defense has almost been more engaged because of it. He's been very locked in on that end of the floor, gotten a couple rebounds, made plays for his teammates as well, and that's just going to serve him better. He's going to get the ball in better positions because of that playmaking that he is doing for the rest of his team.
And this is a very good indication for Michigan in the future. And I don't know about you, Lucas, but one thing I noticed in this half is Michigan wants to run a little bit. And they were running in transition a little. They had an alley-oop from Brooks to Teskey, which was fun to see and got this crowd on its feet. But if we haven't really seen Michigan run in transition a lot, you see it a little bit every game, but not as really a play style. And they were running a little bit today. A little more than Beeline may have wanted, because at the end of that half, he definitely slowed it down. But it's a fun style of basketball to see that running attack. And they might be able to do that a little bit more this year with all the athletes they have on this team.
Well, the fear when you get out and run is just that you're going to turn the ball over or take quick, unnecessary shots if it's not there right away. But I think they did do a good job of showing some good discipline. There was one time I do remember where Jordan Poole looked to push initially, saw he didn't have numbers, and instead pulled it out, set up the half-court offense. But other than that, this is a team that needs to attack in transition. When you have the positional flexibility that they have, when you can go Isaiah Livers or Ignis Brezdinkis at the 4, and then you've got basically 3 guards running the other positions. Even John Teskey's a guy that can run up and down the floor. He's athletic enough to do so. Then that's a lineup that needs to be attacking in transition. And one last thing to that point is that these are guys that are probably better at finishing around the rim than they are at shooting from deep, which is different than a lot of the Michigan teams in the past. But John Beeline's not going to be stubborn, and he's going to let the team play to his strength.
And that's a different style of play that we've seen the past couple years. But when you have athletic guys who are lanky like Simpson, like Matthews, like Brezdakis, like Johns, and the list goes on and on. We didn't even mention Poole and Livers. You have to let them play their strengths like you mentioned, and attacking is what they do best. But it's going to be very interesting to see. You have to imagine at least one of these guys is going to emerge as a three-point threat.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think the most likely option is Jordan Poole. And we've seen it in flashes last year. It wasn't there consistently.
I mean, there's not a practice that goes by for John Beilein where shooting is not emphasized. So Jordan Poole is going to be a shooter. These other guys are also gonna have their moments as well. Maybe it's not like a guy like Duncan Robinson where you can just kind of bank on him being money, but it's going to be by committee, and everybody's going to have the threat to do so.
Well, I don't know if it's that bad that we don't have a Duncan Robinson on this team on offense when if he's not hitting his shot, then he's essentially worthless to the offense. So
well, I wouldn't say worthless. I thought he was – I mean, at the very least, he's a good diversion. And
he was a good diversion. But
he's going to demand the attention. He would demand the attention of the defense. And, yeah, he did evolve into a capable driver by his senior year. And at the very least, he was still a good passer and a consistent, steady veteran presence on offense. So I wouldn't say worthless.
Great half of basketball here at Chrysler. A little empty at the start, but has filled up here in the first men's game of the year. The women played here last night against Findlay, getting their first win in an exhibition game.
Another freshman for the women. I mean, kind of staying on that theme. Yeah, Amy Dilk really looking good. Had 9 assists. Probably had room for more as well, but sometimes teammates failed to finish around the rim or got fouled instead. So that 9 assist number could have been probably more, but I think she provides something that's a little different than the way Caitlin Flaherty played. Caitlin was obviously more looking to score herself, but Amy's really looking to set her teammates up, which will get the ball moving and allow Michigan to really balance the scoring out from the women's side. Exciting
young teams, I should say, from both the men and women's squad here at Michigan.
Yeah, a lot of talent coming up in these freshman and sophomore classes for the Wolverines.
It's going to be exciting years on both parts. Both teams are expected to compete well in the Big Ten.
Yep.
An important Big Ten matchup to note, not on the basketball side of the ball, but on the football side. Michigan plays Penn State tomorrow. Have any comments on that one, Lucas?
Well, I think that, this is a game that Michigan's had on their minds for a long, long time. When you think about the way Penn State really ran up the score, last year, I mean, all the Michigan defensive players remember that. All the Michigan coaches remember that.
Revenge tour.
And at home, I expect the Wolverines to really dominate this game. I know that it'll have another expectation of being a close game, but I really expect Michigan football to come out and just dominate Penn State tomorrow. McSorley's a little banged up too, which could hurt his mobility. And that's really the only way I see Penn State winning the game is if McSorley really just goes completely like kind of Brandon Wimbush did. But I just don't see that at home.
And we are about to switch off commentators here on WCBN FM Ann Arbor 88.3. This has been Alex Kramer and Lucas Vargas giving you the first game of the season. And now we are going to pass it off to Charlie Goodwin on play-by-play, and I'll let him introduce the rest of his team.
Hey, this is Charlie Goodwin here for WCBN Sports, giving you the first game of the season between the Michigan Wolverines and the Northwood Wolves. I'm here with Andy Laidlaw on the color commentary. Andy, what have your thoughts been on this Michigan team so far throughout the first half?
Well, this Michigan team, they did graduate their 3 best shooters. A typical John Beilein offense is the type of team that lives and dies by the 3-ball. So for me coming in today, I wanted to see how this offense was going to change. The big takeaway that I've had so far in this first half of this exhibition game against Northwood is that you've seen this team be more of a slashing type offense, which is totally different than the traditional offense that Beilein runs. You've seen Iggy, Brezdakis really just take the ball to the rim a lot. And for me coming out today, I want to see who was going to be the main focal point of this offense. And so far it has been Iggy. He has our leading scorer. He has 11 points, and he really has shown a good ability to drive to the basket and finish. He's a good, strong, balanced basketball player, and he's going to be, to me, looking at so far what I've seen, it looks like he's going to be the focal point of this offense. Another person I've been watching a lot is Jordan Poole. He's a guy that can create a shot. He's obviously a 3-point shooter. We obviously saw that three-pointer that we all went nuts for as it went on to Houston in the second round. But today, Poole was over 2 from 3. So he struggled a little bit, but he's a good basketball player. He's a good shooter. You're going to see him pick up his shooting game as the season goes on. It is early. It's an exhibition game. Another point that you and I both have been watching, Charlie, is Michigan's ability to be better free throw shooting team. Last year, the one Achilles heel this team had all year is that they were not a good free throw shooting team. So far, Charles Matthews, a player that struggled from the free throw line last year, is 4 or 5 today. So he looks a little bit more poised at the free throw line. He's done well. A guy that struggled all year last year, and ultimately Michigan always took out late in fourth or late second half games and close games was Xavier Simpson. Today, Xavier is 1 for 3 from the free throw line. His shot looks better. His form looks better, but he still just does not look comfortable at the free throw line, and he's struggling this far. If he wants to stay on the floor later in games, he has to improve that free throw shooting. Otherwise, Michigan's going to look at another direction late in games to get those free throws.
Yeah, I totally agree. While Matthews looks like a far better free throw shooter than he was last year, Simpson still looks nervous up there at the line, and that's definitely going to need to change, which is unfortunate because he does so many other things so well. I mean, he defends great. He facilitates well. He can get to the basket and score buckets. And also back to what you were saying about this slash offense we've seen from John Beilein so far. It's working. I mean, Brasdakis is getting to the rim. Simpson's getting to the rim, but also while these John Beilein teams do live and die by the three, they're getting those open shots, which is good to see. They're just not hitting them tonight.
Absolutely, they just got to fall, and that'll come as the season goes. You can't really teach a guy to be a better shooter when the situation in a live game happens. So, sometimes they go in, sometimes they don't. Well, the great thing about this Michigan basketball team is that they do have the ability to drive to the rack and finish around the rim. A guy that showed that ability, especially in the tournament last year, was Charles Matthews. Charles Matthews is an incredible athlete. He tested the NBA waters this year. He went to the combine, didn't like his draft position, so he decided to come back to the Wolverines, and he should be a guy that's going to be that leader for this offense this year. And it doesn't come from the offensive end. Charles Matthews is an exceptional defender. He is one of those defenders that can guard in the perimeter. He can guard him all the way down the paint. He's strong. He's athletic. He can block shots, and he's a great rebounder. So Charles Matthews, as a whole, as a complete basketball player, is going to be that guy Michigan looks to do multiple things on the court as the Wolverines come out right now. But Charles Matthews is the guy that probably is the best overall NBA prospect on this team, and he shows that with his athleticism around the rim and his ability to play on-ball defense from the perimeter.
Yeah, certainly. Charles Matthews is definitely the leader of this Wolverines team. But I think another important thing to note is that this team had big shoes to fill. They lost Muhammad Ali Abdur-Rahman, Duncan Robinson, and Mo Wagner, who was not only one of their best players, but also, in a sense, their emotional leader, the guy who got them going, who gave them energy. And I think we may see those shoes filled in the form of Ignas Brasdakis this season.
Absolutely. And we were talking about it earlier. Muhammad Ali Abdur-Rahman was a guy that could score every kind of way. He was a great shooter. We saw that in games when Michigan was at Purdue last year. He delivered 27 points where he could absolutely just snipe behind the arc. But something that was so quiet about Rahman is that he was a phenomenal drive finisher and slasher. So it's going to be difficult for Wolverines to replace a complete offensive player like that. But as you said, Brasdakis is going to be that guy that's going to take it to the rim, have a strong presence in the paint, but also can stretch the floor a little bit, hit those elbow jump shots, and even stretch it out to the three-point line, showing his ability to shoot the three as long as being a great finisher around the rim.
And he also wears that number 13 just like Mo too, which is a good coincidence.
Yes. That's high shoes to fill there for the number 13 number, but he so far he's shown that he can play to the ability we've heard from him so far.
Yeah, and back to the three ball. It's kind of weird that the only three of the game has come from the hands of Eli Brooks, who's not known for his three-point shooting, really.
Yeah, and we were talking about it. Jordan Poole, a guy who is the three-point specialist on this offense, is 0 for 2 thus far. But, it's early. There's a lot of other guys on this team that has capability of hitting the three. Really, honestly, everybody on this team has a capability of hitting the three, probably besides Austin Davis. We've heard the development of John Teskey's perimeter game. And if Teskey can add that element to his basketball game, he will also be a very dangerous threat for the offense. But there's also multiple guys off the bench that can shoot the ball. Isaiah Livers, who was the first one off the bench today, has a great ability to stretch the floor, shoot the ball, can drive to the rim, can finish. And then Brandon Johns, a freshman from East Lansing, who really is a perfect fit for this Michigan offense. He might not exactly get a lot of playing time this year, but as the year goes on, he might find some PT on the floor with his ability to be big, tall, athletic, but is actually a phenomenal shooter. You saw that in his days at East Lansing High School. He's a guy that can stretch the floor, can shoot, and is very athletic around the rim.
Yeah, for sure. I think Brandon Johns might have the most potential of any player on this Michigan basketball team. So far, we've seen him look kind of nervous with the ball, but that's expected. It's his first game in college.
Yeah. Yep, and he's not gonna be a guy that's gonna bring the ball up the floor. He's not a Draymond Green in the NBA, but he's a guy definitely when he's got the ball in his hands on the wing, he can make plays. With his ability to create. One thing that I've seen from Northwood, Trey McBride, who was a second-team All-GLIAC player last year, clearly seems like he's a standout of this Northwood basketball team. He hasn't really shoot the ball particularly well from outside, but he has shown tremendous ability to drive the rim and finish.
All right, very quickly before the second half starts, who would you like to see get more playing time in the second half?
We were talking about him a lot. I would like to see Brandon Johns and David DeJulius, the freshman from Detroit, get more playing time and see what these freshmen can bring to this Wolverine team as the season goes on.
I totally agree. I don't think DeJulius has really gotten his opportunity to show what he could do yet. He's an athletic guard. He could sort of fill those shoes of Rockman, maybe a little less scoring, but he could certainly get inside and facilitate the ball.
Both DeJulius and Johns were finalists for the Mr. Basketball of the state of Michigan and ultimately lost to Foster Lawyer, who is the point guard now at Michigan State University, the rivals. But I want to see these two get more minutes to see what they can do.
And we're underway in the second half. Ja'Kavian Lewis has the ball. Picked up by David Yelikin. Trey McBride with the ball. We mentioned he is an athletic player for this Wolves team. Airballs the three, though. Simpson with the rebound. Now he's going the other way.
Yeah, and that's what we were talking about, Trey McBride. He has not been a great shooter today.
Jordan Poole bucket, but it's no good because there was a foul on the play.
Yeah, that's one thing I was definitely looking for in the first half as well. I wanted to see if Jordan Poole can kind of complete his skill set at the offense, if he can drive and shoot. We know he's a great shooter, but I want to see him be more of a slasher as well.
Simpson inbounds the ball to Poole. Poole at the top of the three-point line looking. Dishes off to Teskey. Now Teskey has the top. Teskey looking. Back to Poole. Sets a pick. Goes around to Matthews, to Simpson. Simpson got on the corner, drives baseline, and it's stolen by Northwood, but goes back to Simpson. Now they're fighting for it, and it's a jump ball.
Yeah, Beeline coming out in a traditional offense. He likes to have his big come up at the top of the key and kind of be that little midway point when you don't have to make those cross-court passes. You just have the big kind of cut off that cross-court pass and then deliver an easier pass and really get a lot of pick and rolls off there, a lot of back cuts, a lot of ability. If that guy can shoot the three up top, that big can shoot the three, that's a huge bonus. And we saw Mo Wagner absolutely dominate with the ball in his hands on top of the key last year.
Poole to inbound the ball for the Wolverines. He has an overdose of swag, as John Beeline described him last year in the tournament after he hit that shot. Inbounds to Matthews. Matthews passes Simpson at the top. Simpson setting up now in the offense. Goes towards Matthews, dishes it off to him. Teskey with the pick. Inside to Teskey, out to Brasdakis. Brasdakis shoots, hits it, but it's no good because there is a travel on the play.
Yeah, he ran a nice little pick and roll there between Matthews and Teskey. Matthews delivered a good pass, but Teskey traveled.
Shot no good by Northwood. Poole gets the rebound.
Yeah, today you've seen Jordan Poole to bring the ball up the floor a lot today.
Poole goes inside, no good. Fighting for the rebound. Ja'Kavian Lewis comes down with it. And the Wolves are going the other way. Lewis to Alec Marty. Alec Marty dribbling in front of Charles Matthews. Goes around the pick set by David Yelinik. Marty to Lewis on the outside. Lewis crosses over, pulls up from three, and banks it in. It's good.
The one thing that's going to be hard for this Michigan defense to replace is Mo Wagner's ability to switch on ball screens at the top of the key. Today, we have not seen John Teskey's ability to do that. He shows, and he goes right back to his defender or offender.
Brasdakis has it at the top. Puts it in for Matthews. Matthews turns, faces the basket. Better drop, dribbles back to the basket. Turnaround jumper, no good. Rebound, Ja'Kavian Lewis. Out to Jack Ammerman. Ammerman inside. Out to Alec Marty for three. It's no good. Teske comes down with the rebound.
Yeah, I think John Beeline this year is going to be it's going to give Charles Matthews more freedom with the ball in his hands. Last year, he was a great slasher and can kind of sometimes stretch the floor. This year, Beeline has put his confidence in Matthews to be an all-around offensive player, and thus far has taken many outside shots, which is totally within his skill set. Looks like Isaiah Livers is going to enter the floor for the Wolverines.
As well as Austin Davis, the other big man on the team.
Austin Davis, we were talking about earlier too, Charlie. Austin Davis has that physical presence down in the paint. He's a 7-foot center who he's not a flashy player for this Wolverines, but Austin Davis has a good presence around the rim. He's a very solid rim protector. We saw that in the Big Ten championship last year as he played pretty solid defense against all Big Ten center Isaac Haas. Michigan is going to rely on Davis to be that sort of backup center for Wolverines this year.
The refs seem to be reviewing something, not quite sure what it is. I think they were reviewing whose possession it is, and it looks like it will be Northwood ball still.
Yeah, Northwood, really, I mean, it's only a 41-29 game. Northwood, who is in a tough conference with the likes of Division II national champions Ferris State, has shown pretty good ability to hang on with this Wolverine ball club.
Ja'Kavian Lewis to inbound. Passes back court to Alec Marty.
Northwood, without a doubt, is a more fast-paced offense.
Marty bringing up the ball now. Over to Zach Allred. Over to Ja'Kavian Lewis. Lewis dribbling. Kicks into Yelnick, and it's stolen by Davis, who kicks it to Simpson. Matthews, Livers, the slam.
And that is the athletic ability we see from Isaiah Livers all of last year, and hopefully we see from him this year. He's a great leaper who can shoot and can stretch the floor. As he just slammed down that alley-oop.
Allred tried to pass it in to David Yelenick, but it was tipped by Poole. They're saying it's Northwood ball, which it should be since it went off the foot of Jordan Poole.
Yeah, Poole kind of.
It will stay Northwood ball.
Poole trying to be a little acting, thinking Michigan had the ball. He's pointing down the Michigan way, but it was clearly off on him.
Ja'Kavian Lewis to inbound once again.
Yeah, as we were saying, we haven't seen a lot of freshman point guard four-star David DeJulius.
Jack Ammerman inside, off the bottom of the rim, but gets his own rebound. And stolen by Simpson to Matthews. The slam by Charles Matthews. The score is 45-29 Michigan.
That is one thing Xavier Simpson also is very good at. When he's got the ball in his hands in the backcourt, he's very good at looking up and having great court awareness.
Ja'Kavian Lewis has it, drives inside, puts it up, and it trickles in for the basket by Ja'Kavian Lewis.
As Northwood comes out in this full court press, trying to shake things up from this Michigan offense, who has 45 points so far.
Poole with the ball, bringing it up court. Puts it over to Livers on the wing. Livers going to the top to Matthews, over to Simpson. Simpson's got it, hasn't moved yet. Moves towards the center, tries to get inside to Davis, but it's deflected and stolen by Ja'Kavian Lewis. Ja'Kavian Lewis over to Jack Ammerman. Jack Ammerman for three. It's no good. Poole's got it. He's going the other way. It's a 4-on-4 now. Poole goes inside, puts it up, and no good. Gets his own rebound. No good.
Austin Davis showing a lot of grit down the paint right there in that last possession. He is a guy that like we said, not flashy, but has the ability to play tough and be a good rim protector and a good offensive and defensive rebounder.
And although he lost the fight for that rebound just now, you could really see the amount of grit and toughness he has down in that paint.
Absolutely.
Really fighting for every ball.
He's going to be the guy that's going to give that effort off the bench for the Wolverines. And as we see Eli Brooks coming off the bench and not David DeJulius, which is expected. You're going to give the opportunity to the upperclassmen over the freshmen. But do not be surprised if David DeJulius kind of takes over that role as the season goes on.
And Northwood now has in Kelvin Calhoun, their big man down low. Subbed him in on the last possession.
Calhoun, a 300-pound center.
as well as Bruno Solomon, another one of their big men. Solomon into Calhoun. Calhoun backing down Davis, puts up a little hook shot. It's good.
Calhoun is a good prep for Michigan rival Michigan State Nick Ward, who is also a beefy big man. So this is good. This is good for that Wolverine defense to try to prep against bigger type centers.
And Simpson drove inside and finished the bucket with contact on that last basket. He'll be going to the line after this timeout. Let's see if he can kind of avenge his free throw woes on this one.
Yeah, Michigan through this first half and early on here in the second half, I've also been curious to see how this rotation was going to look for this Wolverine team. And as we've been repeating, we haven't seen a lot of David DeJulius. The big question was whether it's going to be DeJulius or going to be Eli Brooks. And we've seen far more time from Eli Brooks rather than DeJulius, as Brooks has far more minutes than DeJulius. And another thing that was very interesting to me is Brandon Johns. We haven't seen a lot of minutes from him as well. But, they're two freshmen. It's an exhibition game. This is really the first live competition they've seen otherwise from their trip to Spain. And, they got to earn their minutes. John Beeline's not a guy that's going to hand out minutes as he's shown throughout his whole career.
But on the other hand, I would feel maybe like a coach like Beilein would give the guys a chance to show themselves in these exhibition games.
Yeah, and Beilein did come in this week saying he wants his starters to get minutes. He said the main point of this exhibition is for the starters to get comfortable with playing a large amount of minutes. He as he said, Jordan Poole has never played 30 minutes in his college basketball career. He wants to see how Poole can handle playing a large amount of time, and that's why we're not seeing a lot of John. That's why I'm not seeing a lot of DeJulius, not seeing a lot of the other freshmen, because he wants his starters to get 30 minutes and see how they can handle those 30 minutes.
Yeah, and a coach like John Beilein obviously knows what he's doing. We were talking about this before. I think, is he the best coach in college basketball? Absolutely not. But I think in terms of player development, he is second to none.
And, I would step back a little bit from saying he's definitely out of the question for being the best basketball coach in college. He is very much in that conversation. He might not produce the wins because he doesn't get the same talent that Duke and Kentucky get, but he makes the most out of 3-star and 4-star recruits than anybody in the country. The one guy who's won the Naismith for Michigan, and in this last couple of years, Trey Burke, was a 3-star recruit, and John Beilein got that talent out of Trey Burke and found that ability and formed him into the best player in the country.
Exactly. His player development is just exceptional. I mean, he turns people who weren't top 100 recruits into NBA players.
Yeah, I mean, from the likes of Karis LeVert, Mo Wagner, Trey Burke, Glenn Robinson, Mitch McGarry. A lot of guys he turned into pro.
Now let's see if Simpson can hit this free throw. And he does. Simpson is now
2 of 4.
2 of 4 from the line.
Yeah, a little bit more confidence from Xavier. That looked good.
It's just above his 49% shooting clip he had last year from the line.
Yeah, that's got to improve. We're going to be a starting point guard for this Wolverines team.
Lewis with the ball over to Alec Marty in the top, who's looking to Kelvin Calhoun inside, but Davis just really fronted him. Lewis for the 3. No good. Rebound by Matthews. There's a foul on the play.
Looks like Davis got bad positioning there on Calhoun and went over the back. And that's one thing you got to improve as a center. You got to get a good position to get good rebounds, and Davis really didn't get there as he's getting checked out right now by John Teskey.
As big as a player as Calhoun is, Davis is bigger than him, so that really can't happen.
Yeah. Calhoun's definitely got the weight advantage, but yeah, like you're saying, he's taller and he's got the wide complex to be able to box out Calhoun.
Jacavian Lewis has it at the top of the key. Over to Jack Arrowman. Jack Arrowman drives baseline, tries to dish to Calhoun, but stolen by Simpson. The Wolverines going another way. Dish delivers. The slam by Isaiah Livers.
Yeah, great vision there by Xavier Simpson to push the ball off the court and find the open lane and deliver to Isaiah Livers.
Jacavian Lewis has the ball at the top of the key. Over to Trey McBride, that athletic guard for the Wolves.
Yeah, as we were saying, looks like there's an offensive foul on Northwood. As we were saying about Xavier Simpson, Michigan really needs him to develop as a better free throw shooter, because the guy who has got the great ability to defend like Xavier does, Michigan needs him in those situations late in the game to defend their best perimeter player. So for him to be a better free throw shooter, or for Michigan to be a better point guard, we need Xavier to be a better free throw shooter.
And speaking of facilitating, on that last play, Simpson put it inside for Eli Brooks, who just put it up while taking contact for the N1.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of this two-guard, point guard system that Michigan's got. We've seen a lot of minutes out of both Eli Brooks and Xavier Simpson at the same time, which we never really saw last year from the Wolverines.
Brooks at the line. He hits the shot. And, yeah, that's very interesting because at 6'1" and 6 feet, they are two of the smallest players on the team.
Yeah, and that's, Michigan's not exactly a big team, so they want to get height wherever they can.
Simpson, Livers, and the slam dunk by Isaiah Livers.
Isaiah Livers is putting on a show in the second half. That is his third highlight slam, and he is showing that great leaping ability.
Michigan has a new energy. The Chrysler Center has a new energy, and this game has been blown wide open by the Wolverines.
As Livers and Poole, the great buddies that they are, you see them across campus together all of the time, have great chemistry, and they gave a nice little chest bump there going back to the huddle.
This game stayed close for a lot longer than most people thought it would, but at some point you knew that the Wolverines' athleticism and skill would just take over.
Absolutely. And, it is early. There's a lot of freshmen expected to have big roles on this Michigan team this year. So you're going to see those early season jitters. And really, it is a 22-point game right now. But this Michigan offense has looked pretty efficient. We haven't seen a lot of three-pointers. As we were saying, this is going to be more of a slashing offense this year for the Wolverines.
And also a lot of what we've seen is a guard kind of rolling around to the block to get a pass from the outside.
Yeah, that's been John Beilein's offense. He likes to motion his players around. You never see a lot of set shooters, even though this is a three-point shooting team or a three-point shooting offense. You really John Beilein likes to see his offensive players get open, move fast, to set up their shot. Not sit, drive, penetrate, dish out for the open threes. It's a fast-moving, winding offense that John Beilein has ran basically his whole tenure here at Michigan.
Yeah, now we have the fans at Chrysler doing the Blues Brothers chant.
Well, that's long-lasting tradition here in Michigan. They do it at the football games, they do it at the basketball games, they do it at the hockey games. Just a nice little thing the student section loves to do to get this atmosphere a little energized.
Now, do you think with the 22-point lead that the Wolverines hold now we're going to start to see maybe Brandon Johns and David DeJulius come in?
Eventually, yes. As Beilein did say this week, he does want his players to get a lot of minutes. But when it comes down to it, you get a wide margin like this, you take away the risk of injury, there's going to be a lot more substitutions coming in later in this game.
Well, it appears like Beilein will stay with the five he had out there before the timeout, which was Xavier Simpson, Isaiah Livers, Eli Brooks, Charles Matthews, and John Teskey as they huddle at midcourt.
Yeah, we were coming in here expecting to see a lot of minutes, but really this Michigan recruiting class is one of the best Beilein has ever had. He rolled in 5 4-stars this year. So, there's other players on that bench that can produce for the Wolverines, and we're going to see that soon here.
Jacavian Lewis has the ball, the wing for the Wolverines. Trying to look inside, kicks it around to Bruno Solomon. Solomon hands it off to Jack Ammerman. Jack Ammerman trying to create some space on Isaiah Livers, but he's just way too big. Calvin Calhoun's got it at the three-point line. Into Trey McBride, who puts it up, blocked by Matthews, but he gets his own rebound, puts it up for a layup. Now Simpson's got the ball, but he will dish it off to Brooks and let him run point. Brooks to Livers, Livers to Teskey, Teskey to Matthews. Picks up by Teskey, Matthews rolls around, puts up the jumper, no good. Rebound by Livers, back out to Matthews, who fakes, tries to go inside, but is fouled by Jacavian Lewis.
Yeah, Charles Matthews got to have a little better poise than that with the ball in his hands. He dribbled into a double team there. You can't do that. When you get a double team, you got to swing the ball. You got to find open players, and Charles Matthews didn't do it very well there.
Now 21, number Zach Allred will check in for the Wolves for number 14, Bruno Solomon. And Michigan fans' favorite, Jordan Poole, has just entered the game for Xavier Simpson.
Yeah, Jordan Poole, the kind of cultural sensation here at University of Michigan. Everybody loves that guy. He's got that overdose of swag that Beilein said.
He's got the ball at the top. kicks it out to Matthews. Matthews goes inside, spins out to Brooks. Brooks back to Matthews. The three. It's good. The second three of the game for the Wolverines and the first for Charles Matthews.
So one thing to watch this year as the year goes on is Charles Matthews going to develop his outside game better than he did last year. And that's all confidence. And Beeline's given that confidence to Matthews today.
All red over to Trey McBride, the star for the Wolves. Into Kelvin Calhoun. Calhoun trying to back down Teskey. Can't do it. Tried to backdoor pass to McBride. Stolen by Matthews. Out to Brooks. Into Teskey, who mishandles the pass. But it's off the foot of Jacavian Lewis, and the Wolverines maintain possession.
Yeah, we're seeing that great fundamental defense that the Wolverines have carried over from the national tournament last year. That was great rotational defense by Charles Matthews, cutting off that passing lane and getting a good fast break for the Wolverines.
Brooks inbound. Finds Teskey, who quickly hands it back to Brooks. Brooks to Poole. Poole the three. It's good, and the foul. He's going to the line for the 4-point play.
Jordan Poole, overdose of swag, and you see that confidence there on that three-pointer as he gives you a little shimmy, too, after that play. Jordan Poole, a phenomenal offensive player. He's going to be one of the vital players in this offensive system this year, and he delivers a great and one three-pointer there.
And this is beginning to look like that Wolverines team we saw late last year.
Yeah, they are definitely playing with a little bit more confidence right now. They're showing a little bit more energy. I think those alley-oops delivers kind of boosted their effort, boosted their atmosphere just a little bit, and been quite exciting to see here as the second half has continued to go on.
Poole at the line. It's good. And on that shot, Kelvin Calhoun exited the game for number 13, David Jelinek for Northwood. Jacavian Lewis with the ball. Finds Jack Ammerman, who finds Trey McBride. Over to Allred. Allred drives inside, spins, tries to get it to Jelinek, can't, but McBride gets it back, puts it up, and it's good.
Yeah, McBride's been a quite phenomenal player thus far for the Timberwolves. He definitely is showing that he could be a very competitive player in the GLIAC this year.
Matthews with the ball, looking, hasn't made a move yet, goes around the pick set by Teskey. Now he's got it at the top. Going to look to do his own thing, but it's stolen by Jacavian Lewis, and the Wolves are going the other way. Lewis puts up the layup. It's no good, but McBride on the rebound puts it up with ease.
Yeah, McBride, who was a first-team All-GLIAC defender last year, has been on Charles Matthews the majority of the game, and actually has stopped Matthews' dribble drive penetration. And, just more to emphasize how great McBride has been today.
Brooks drives inside, but to no avail. Out to Livers. Livers inside, puts up the floater. No good. Gets his own rebound. No good. Again, gets his own rebound and secures it this time.
Great resilience there by Isaiah Livers on this possession.
Now Poole's got the ball. Looks inside. Goes up for the dunk. Stuffed at the top. But Teskey with the finish.
And that's what John Teskey and Austin Davis both are going to be this year. They're going to clean up offensive rebounds, and they're going to finish around the rim.
It's interesting. We really haven't seen number 11, Jack Ammerman, come out of the game for these Northwood
He also
Wolves.
was more of an offensive standout for Northwood so far in that first half. He showed good ability to shoot the three. And for the first time in a long time, we're going to see Brasdakis enter back on the floor for the Wolverines. And as we were saying at half, Iggy has been the standout for the Wolverines offense, especially in the first half. He showed great ability to control the ball, show a good tempo, and drive and finish around the rim. So it's exciting to see Iggy enter the game back in the second half.
And that name you've heard us say a lot for Northwood, Trey McBride. He's got 16 points. He's 8 of 12 from the field. He's really been the only player who can get any leverage on this Michigan team.
Yeah, and that's exactly why he was a second-team all-conference player last year. He's a good basketball player. He's going to do very well in the GLIAC, which is a Division II conference. A lot of teams centered around here in the state of Michigan. You got Grand Valley, Saginaw Valley. You got national champions, Ferris State. You got Northern Michigan, Lake Superior State. There's a lot of schools around Michigan, and McBride's going to be one of the pivotal players in this conference this year. And he showed a great ability to compete with the Division I Big Ten national champion runner-up Wolverines. So this is a very promising thing for the Northwood basketball team. See McBride play very well today.
And that player you just talked about before for the Wolverines, Ignas Brasdakis, fun fact about him, He plays basketball lefty, but does everything else righty.
Very different. That's weird. That's,
Usually, if anything,
yeah.
you'd see it the opposite way.
Yeah, exactly. But, hey, keep shooting at the left. He's a good ball player. I hope he keeps doing it.
Yes, the Lithuanian-born 19-year-old who grew up in Canada and is now a freshman for the Wolverines. Brazdeikis is a highly touted recruit, the highest of John Beeline's recruiting classes here, actually, with a scout grade of 88.
Yeah, Iggy is going to be a pivotal player on this Michigan basketball team this year. And a lot of people got a chance to see Iggy. As a Canadian, we don't get to see him a lot because he's not as scouted, not as looked at being an international player. But he actually performed in the Nike Hoop Summit this year and went up against the American All-Star, American All-American team, So he actually performed pretty well in that Hoop Summit. So it's very promising to see from Michigan 5-star Ignas Brazdeikis.
Yeah, Canada also has very underrated basketball talent. I mean, top recruiter this year, RJ Barrett is from Canada.
And former Wolverine, Nick Stauskas.
Yes.
So, Canada has produced some high-quality basketball players. And, that guy from Duke or Kansas a couple years ago.
Andrew Wiggins.
Andrew Wiggins, yep.
Brazdeikis drives inside and finishes left. Brazdeikis once again showing his ability to get inside and score. McBride for three. No good, but they can't seem to get the rebound, and it goes out of bounds off Teskey. Northwood ball.
Yeah, you're still seeing this two-guard system from the Wolverines. Well, Jordan Poole did check in for Xavier Simpson, but you're still seeing a lot of minutes here from Eli Brooks.
Jack Arrowman for three, no good. Brazdeikis comes down with it. And he's going to try to run the point, which is interesting with two guards on the floor.
He absolutely has the ability to do that. He's a very good ball handler.
Goes around the pick set by Teskey, and he finally passes it off to Eli Brooks. Brooks goes around Teskey's pick, looks back to Teskey. Teskey for three. It's good! John Teskey with a three-pointer from the top of the key for the Wolverines.
That is going to be huge for the Wolverines. If Teskey can hit those shots and add that extra element to the offense, this offense is going to be far more dangerous than people expected.
And Jack Arrowman was able to get inside and finish on that last bucket while taking contact from Jordan Poole, and he'll go to the line.
Yeah, we heard it all offseason. One of Beeline's main focus was to develop the three ball from John Teskey, and that last shot looked pretty promising. If he can add that element to his game, Michigan's offense is going to be a lot more scary than people expected.
Yeah, if someone with Teskey's size is able to shoot like semi-consistently from 3 points.
And it's gonna be a different element. We didn't see, or we got the great opportunity to see exactly that with Mo Wagner last year. It was a 6'11" stretch center that could shoot the three. And Teskey's not gonna be able to shoot as well as Mo. It's just not gonna happen. But if he can get anywhere close to Mo's shooting ability and kind of keep that same pace of offense, that'll be nice for the Wolverines.
And Ammerman's attempt at the foul shot was a little bit off on that last one. Wolverines have the ball now. Jordan Poole tries to cut inside, loses the ball, but gets it back to Matthews. Matthews goes baseline, and a little lay-in, which just rolls off the rim, and Northwood's going the other way.
Didn't finish that basket there, but great slashing ability from Charles Matthews.
Trey McBride over to Zach Allred, who gets it to Jack Arrowman, back to Allred. Allred drives inside, spins, puts it up. No good, but a foul on Eli Brooks.
Yeah, tough switch there for the Wolverines. They've been switching a lot of ball screens, a lot of unfortunate matchups for the Wolverines, especially happened on that last possession.
And with Eli Brooks standing at 6'1" and Zach Allred standing at 6'6", it was kind of hard for him to stay honest on that last.
Yeah, that's a game when you switch ball screens. You're going to get those bad matchups. It's going to be a little bit harder for Michigan to do that this year without Mo Wagner and his great ability to keep up with the point guard on ball screens. But John Teskey can develop that as well. But that'd be a very big thing for the Wolverines.
Both shots by Zach Allred were good. The score is now 69-43 Wolverines. Also, Alec Marty and Jacavian Lewis checked in for the Wolves on that last play. Matthews with the ball, looking inside to Brazdeikis, but he's not open. Poole at the top, has it. Kind of kicks it himself, but gets it back, and a traveling violation called on Jordan Poole.
We are still seeing the starters in this game as Xavier Simpson is checking back in the game, which is still surprising. We're not seeing a lot of David DeJulius, But Beeline said he wants to get his starters minutes. He wants to see how they can handle going deep into games, getting 30-plus minutes, and he's living up to his word. That's exactly what he's doing right now.
Ja'Cavian Lewis at the top of the key. Goes around the screen over to Zach Allred. Allred drives inside, spins, no good, but Trey McBride's able to corral it. There are Northwood players down on the ground as Alec Marty goes in and finishes, and now they're back up, and the Wolverines are going the other way. Score 69-45 Wolverines. Brazdakis inside. Couldn't quite finish the floater. Alec Marty grabs the rebound as he takes up the floor for the Wolves. Marty at the top. Allred over to Ja'Cavian Lewis. Lewis has it. Screen by Jelinek set. Passes over to Allred. Hands off to Marty. Marty stolen by Simpson. The Wolverines going the other way.
Yeah, Northwood does not look comfortable in this half-court set. They're definitely been trying to push the floor early on in this game when they got in that half-court set there, and it did not look very good.
Foul on the floor, David Jelinek.
Another noteworthy thing about Iggy's skill set this game, he's shown great ability to contest shots on the defensive end of the floor. And on 2 possessions ago for Northwood, they had a shot. Iggy closed down very quickly and showed great contention. So if he can really improve his defensive game, he can be a very, very elite ball player here for the Big Ten Michigan Wolverines.
And that was Northwood's 8th foul, so John Teskey's at the line. First shot is good on the 1-and-1.
Yeah, John Teskey really has been a very good free throw shooter, and he was very good last year. Noteworthy when he made 5 straight free throws in the round of 32 for the Wolverines and really brought Michigan back into that game against Houston.
So both shots are good for Teskey. And now Austin Davis will check in for John Teskey.
Yeah, that's absolutely very promising to see from Teskey, burying free throws. And he's a guy that's going to stay late in the game. Most teams go away from their center late in the games because they can't shoot free throws. Teskey, a guy that can make it, he stay on that floor and be a rim protector late in games.
Trey McBride with the ball on the wing. Cuts inside. Stops. Looking for a man. Finally finds Ja'Cavian Lewis. Kelvin Calhoun trying to get position inside on Davis, but Davis is not letting him get an inch. Davis can't quite block Ja'Cavian Lewis's layup, as well as fouling him. So Ja'Cavian Lewis will make the basket and go to the line.
Yeah, Davis didn't have his feet set. Really showed late help defense there. That was not a good defensive possession there for Austin Davis, but, you know, that's going to happen. When you're focused on stopping a big guy that Calhoun is, you're going to be late showing off on help defense, and Davis was a little late there and picked up the foul, but, you know, that's going to happen.
And score is now 71-47 in favor of the Wolverines, so they're holding a pretty comfortable lead right now with 7:46 left to go in the half. Any mistakes they make now are learning opportunities.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's going to be the vital point for both of these teams going on. Michigan's going to want to try new things offensively. They're going to see what they can do with their skill sets that their players have. So they're going to test things a little bit. So that's expected in a blowout. Now, if you're Northwood, you're going to take advantage of the next 7.5 minutes. You have a great opportunity of playing a Division I basketball team that just made a Final Four run. You're going to see what your offense can do against high competition. So if you're Northwood, you're gonna give it away. You're not going to give many more possessions to Trey McBride. You know what he can do. You're going to see what the rest of this offense can do there for the Timberwolves.
And number 11 for the Wolves, Jack Amerman, actually was out on that last couple possessions for that first time in a while all game. Amerman's actually an Ann Arbor native. He probably grew up a Wolverines fan himself.
Yeah, and this is probably an absolutely awesome opportunity for him. A team that he probably cheered for most of his life. He gets to play in the Chrysler Center. That's amazing things. That's an amazing opportunity for these guys, and that's exactly why the Wolverines do this. They're bringing a team that wants to play in this great atmosphere, and this is an awesome opportunity for these guys. As this young man right in front of us is breaking down the song, man, he looks good. He's hitting that Orange Justice there in Fortnite.
And now he's going down to the original Fortnite Battle Bus dance, and now he's done. He must really like Drake.
You know what? Him and JP, they could have a little dance off themselves.
And he's back to Orange Justice.
Wow. Great play-by-play action here on the Michigan Fan Dancer. This is what you're going to get here in WCBN.
Well, we are still in a media timeout, so there's not much action on the floor right now at the Chrysler Center.
Yeah, for the rest of this game, like I was saying, the Timberwolves are going to take advantage of the 7.5 minutes. They're going to, just like Michigan, they're going to see what they can do on offense.
And the Wolverines will stay with the same lineup they had before the timeout, which consisted of Ignas Brazdeikis, Xavier Simpson, Eli Brooks, Charles Matthews, and Austin Davis.
Yeah, back to this 2-guard set for the Wolverines.
For the Wolves, Alec Marty, Trey McBride, Jacavian Lewis, Danny Culp, and Kelvin Calhoun. Jacavian Lewis at the line for that foul in the last play. First shot no good. It was a 1-and-1. Brooks able to corral on the rebound. The smaller guard going over the big man Brazdeikis to grab the board. Xavier Simpson has the ball at the top of the key. Kicks to Davis. Over to Brazdeikis. Brazdeikis driving inside. Lefty layup. No good, but fouled on the play, and he will go to the line.
Yeah, we were talking about Michigan's freshmen not looking exactly comfortable with the ball. That is the complete opposite case for Iggy. He's shown great poise with the ball in his hands. You can tell he wants to score. He wants to be this pivotal scorer for the Wolverines this year as he takes another ball to the rack and draws a foul. And it's promising to see Iggy want the ball in his hands, and that's the competitor you want as a Michigan basketball player.
Yeah, and he's really taken the enormous opportunity John Beeline's given him here tonight as he misses the first free throw. But he's really shown what he could do so far in this game and has earned himself minutes in future games.
Absolutely. And it shows a lot that Beilein, it is just an exhibition. This isn't a real game. This isn't going to go for the record. But Iggy earned the starting spot over returning starter Isaiah Livers. So that shows a lot to Iggy's skill that Beilein is willing to start him over a returning starter.
Second foul shot was no good. Simpson now has the top of the key. Simpson drives inside, kicks it out to Brazdeikis. Brazdeikis called for an offensive foul. That's the second offensive foul he has this game. The first one coming early in the game.
Yeah, and we're seeing Isaiah Livers check back in for Iggy. And as I just said, we haven't seen a lot of Isaiah Livers. You know, he had a little bit of a 4-minute, 5-minute run there on the bench after his great energy boosting slams.
We also see John Teskey check back in for Austin Davis. Beeline's really just been switching his two bigs every couple minutes, giving them time to show what they have as Jacavian Lewis passes it over to Alec Marty, who's looking inside but passes over to Trey McBride in the ring. McBride wants it, crosses over, step back, but travels as he took an extra step, looking like James Harden on that play.
Yeah, he was looking for that little Euro back step, little Euro fadeaway, and he traveled. But McBride, right just there. He showed great athletic ability, but he traveled, but he's a very promising player for the Timberwolves.
Jordan Poole also checks back in for Eli Brooks. Poole with the ball now. Poole inside to Simpson. Simpson the reverse. It's good.
Yeah. Actually, Jordan Poole has shown a great ability to pass the ball today. That's his 5th assist. So, actually, that's his 6th assist. So, yeah.
Now Poole on the fast break. The slam. Jordan Poole with a monster slam. And Chrysler's erupting.
Yeah, like we're saying, Poole, that's a 6th assist. So, he can add that skill set to add that ability to his skill set. That's going to be very pivotal for the Wolverines, as he can't be another point guard, 2-guard like Muhammad Ali was last year.
As John Teskey blocks the big man Kelvin Calhoun inside, the Wolverines going the other way. Matthews all the way, just misses. Teskey with the rebound, out to Poole, and now the Wolverines will reset their offense. That's the second time we've seen Charles Matthews miss a layup. Jordan Poole spins, bucket, it's good. He is just slicing up this Northwood defense.
Jordan
the crowd
Poole
is loving it.
Poole has an absolute amazing ability to create shots, and we saw that there. He's a very good scorer, and we're going to see that all this year. Michigan's want to get the ball in his hands.
Alec Marty has the ball inside for the Wolves. Over to Jacavian Lewis. Shot from the foul line, blocked by Livers. Simpson with the rebound. Livers has it. Simpson, and his alley-oop attempt is blocked, and the Wolves are going the other way. Jacavian Lewis, mid-range shot, tries to bank it, no good. Now the Wolverines are going the other way. Matthews, slam, and another for the Wolverines.
Yeah, Charles Matthews, that leaping ability is on cannon. He just has a phenomenal leaping ability, and we saw that all last year through the NCAA tournament. Charles Matthews is the guy that is going to create some electricity with his ability to dunk the ball. He's an exciting player. He needs to be an absolute treasure to watch through the season this year.
The Wolverines now hold a 32-point lead over the Northwood Wolves by a score of 79-47 with 5 minutes and 9 seconds remaining in the second half, as many fans are starting to trickle out due to the large deficit of the game.
Yeah, 5 minutes left in the game. You're going to start seeing the bench players come in. Beeline is going to give them those opportunities. Expect to see freshman guard Adrian Nunez come in, the guy from Brooklyn, who was another 4-star recruit. Really, Ashley is going to – we have heard great things about Nunez coming in this year. He shows great promise as well. As long as Callum Castleton, who is a 7-foot center for the Wolverines, expect him to come in.
Yeah, you're surprised that you haven't really seen Castleton so far, with him being one of the biggest guys on the team, standing at 7 feet. But I guess Teskey and Davis have just been playing way too well for Beeline to neglect.
You don't want to break what you don't want to fix what's not broken. So,
but interestingly enough, you don't see neither Teskey nor Davis in the game right now, as Brandon Johns is in the game.
Yeah, and that's Brandon Johns gives his team great positional versatility, as he can play multiple positions. He can play the 3, he can play the 4, he can play the 5.
And Matthews an alley-oop to Isaiah Livers, who absolutely flushes it down. His 3rd alley-oop of the game.
Yup, Livers showing that great ability to leap. He's been doing it all game.
As well as David DeJulius has entered the game as well. Let's see if he could show some of his skill set that he hasn't had much of an opportunity to show thus far. Defends Ja'Cavian Lewis well inside, as he isn't able to finish. But Danny Culp is able to grab the board and put it up for the score.
Yeah, DeJulius is showing great on-ball defense right there. That's going to be one of those things to look at in the future for the Wolverines. Michigan's point guards typically are very good defenders, as we see from Xavier Simpson, who is one of the best defensive point guards in the Big Ten. If DeJulius wants to steal minutes, he's going to have to prove that he can play on both ends of the floor.
As Michigan calls a timeout, and it looks like Adrian Nunez, Colin Castleton, and C.J. Baird, the walk-on who hit that deep three-pointer against Texas A&M next year.
Boy, was that one of the noteworthy plays of the Wolverine tournament run. That 3 for C.J. Baird against Texas A&M was so awesome. It was so electric. And Beeline, after that game, called his Fab 5, the 5 walk-ons that were on the team last year. He looks forward to those guys getting these opportunities. He loves giving those opportunities to these guys, because those guys, day in and day out, show great effort in practice. They provide the starters with a great look on the opposing team's offense. And those guys deserve those minutes as they work hard day in, day out in practice.
Yeah, another thing I love to say about Coach Beeline is that you look at a coach like Mike Krzyzewski or John Calipari, 2 of the greatest coaches in college basketball right now and maybe ever. It feels like Coach Beeline, compared to those guys, knows that his players are still kids. He knows that they still have to learn. He still has to have a little fun sometimes. And he's got, just like you said, he's got to let those walk-on guys have some fun sometimes.
Absolutely. And that comes from his teaching roots. He used to be a former teacher, and where he taught high school, he used to be a teacher. So that's his philosophy around coaching. He's not just building these guys as players. Beeline's goal is to build these guys to become better men. And that's why John Beeline is one of the most respected coaches in all of college basketball. He's a guy with great integrity. He's a great basketball coach. But above all of that, he is a guy who wants to build players to become better men, not just better basketball players.
And the Michigan lineup now features 4 of the 5 freshmen on the roster. The one being not on the floor is Ignas Brasdeikis, who's been a standout thus far in this game. So the lineup for the Wolverines is C.J. Baird, David DeJulius, Colin Castleton, Adrian Nunez, and Brandon Johns. You're listening to 88.3 WCBN FM Ann Arbor. As we continue this broadcast of the Michigan Wolverines versus Northwood Wolves, as the score is 81-49 Michigan with 4 minutes left to go in the half. DeJulius with the ball. Over to Brandon Johns. Johns facing up to Castleton at the top. To Nunez. Back to Castleton. Castleton finds DeJulius. DeJulius has at the top of the key, uses Castleton's pick, goes inside, puts up the jumper. No good. Castleton rebound, puts it up, and it's good. The first points for Colin Castleton as a Michigan Wolverine.
That's going to be one of the things looking at Colin Castleton, his ability to get offensive rebounds. He's a big 7-foot guy that has that skill set.
As Jack Aronman drains a three for Northwood. DeJulius running point for the Wolverines right now. Kicks it over to CJ Baird, who quickly passes it over to Adrian Nunez. To Castleton. Johns with the ball. DeJulius looking inside, but no one's there. Uses Castleton's pick, finds him inside, but it's picked off by Zach Allred.
Yeah, Michigan's trying to run a little pick and roll with Castleton and DeJulius, and they really ended up double teaming DeJulius, and DeJulius did not look comfortable in that sequence.
Allred tipped that last one out of bounds, so it stays Michigan possession. DeJulius to inbound. Finds Castleton, who is facing up, but finds DeJulius now. DeJulius goes inside, kicks it over to Baird for three. Baird, it's good!
He is carrying on that momentum that he brought from the NCAA tournament last year. He gets a big three there.
And every Michigan fan knows the significance of CJ Baird and the effect he had in that tournament last year. And everyone just loves the fact that he was able to just drill that on his first attempt tonight. As Zach Allred hits a three for the Northwood Wolves.
Yeah, after that big three last year against A&M, CJ turned into a little bit of a social media phenomenon for the Wolverines. A guy that is loved here around Ann Arbor.
DeJulius has it stolen by Aronman. Over to Rhea. Jacavian Lewis inside. Can't finish, but is fouled by Colin Castleton, his first of the game.
Yeah, last year Beeline was so happy to see CJ Baird just bury that shot. Beeline said Baird is one of the most competitive and one of the most passionate guys he has on this Michigan basketball team. He's a guy that comes to practice each and every day, gives it his all, gives a great look for the starters to prepare themselves for every opponent's offense. And CJ is just a guy that's got great character.
And CJ will now exit the game to a roaring ovation and a ton of high fives from his teammates on the bench. And number 32, Luke Wilson, went to the game for the Wolverines, another walk-on.
Yeah, CJ is highly respected around this city, around this university. As we saw there, a standing ovation. People love CJ Baird, and he deserves it.
Julius setting up the offense, spins, passes to Wilson. Wilson to Johns. Johns has it to Castleton at the top, who kicks it to Nunez. Johns posting up. Nunez can't get it to him inside. Back to DeJulius at the top. DeJulius pulls up from three, and it rims around. Brandon Johns almost comes back down with the rebound, but Northwood's going the other way.
Yeah, Johns.
Northwood three-pointer, no good.
On the last possession, Johns had a great one-on-one opportunity to paint with a mismatch. DeJulius did not feed him the rock.
Johns has it in the corner, drives inside, puts it up. It's good. Brandon Johns' first points as a Michigan Wolverine.
Yeah, that's exactly what we were talking about. Johns is a versatile player that can slash, can shoot, and play in the paint as he drove the ball very effectively on that last possession.
Trevor Davis with the ball for the Wolves. Over to Rhea. Rhea tries to drive baseline, can't. Over to Jelinek. Jelinek backs down Castleton. Little baby hook. It's good. Jelinek was just able to body Castleton inside and finish that. Julius has the ball running point. Gets a screen from Castleton. Goes around over to Johns. Johns looking to pull up from three. Doesn't pull the trigger. Back to Castleton. Castleton trying to back David Jelinek down. Spins. Puts it up. And it just goes off the rim. Rhea comes down with it. Trevor Davis going the other way. Davis behind the back. And the three-point attempt is blocked by Brandon Johns. Kicks out to DeJulius. DeJulius with the layup. And Northwood standout, Zach Allred, was injured on that block by Brandon Johns. When he put up the shot, Johns connected with not only the ball, but also Zach Allred's wrist bent back, and he quickly grabbed it as the Wolverines went the other way for that easy bucket by DeJulius.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's unfortunate to see a Northwood player hurt, but we see that Brandon Johns' ability to defend as well. He's a guy with great promise for this Wolverines basketball team in the future. He's going to be a guy to look out for as this year goes on.
There are now 30 seconds left in this contest as the Wolverines lead 90-58. This one's just about over. Trevor Davis with the ball at the top of the key.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of effort from this Wolverines as the game goes on. You guys get these rare opportunities to play. They're going to make the most of it.
Yelenick couldn't hit the baby hook as Johns came down with the rebound. And now the crowd at Chrysler as well as the Wolverines bench will stand as they win their first game of the season, the exhibition with Northwood, by a score of 90-58. The leading scorer was Charles Matthews with 13 points, as the leading passer was Jordan Poole with 7 assists.
We came in today, as the Wolverines do win this game 90-58. We came in today to see how this Wolverines offense was going to look with graduating Duncan Robinson, Muhammad Ali Abdul-Rahman, and Mo Wagner losing their 3 best shooters. We wanted to see how this offense was going to look without those great 3-point shooters. And today we saw more of a slashing offense, an offense that wants to take it to the hoop, not settle for 3-pointers. And that is totally different from what we've seen traditionally on a John Beilein offense. So a thing that's going to be noteworthy this year is Michigan to be as effective on the offensive end this floor on the offensive end this year, as it's going to be a complete different style of play from this Wolverines offense.
Yeah, I think for sure Wolverines fans should be very pleased with the showing that the Wolverines had tonight. They had some bumps here and there, but it's their first game of the season. That's expected. I thought the defense looked great for most of the game. Obviously, there were some points where Northwood would score a couple buckets in a row here and there. But I also thought that the emergence of Ignas Brasdeikis is really refreshing for Wolverines fans to see, as fans were definitely left wondering in the offseason who would fill the shoes of Mo Wagner.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. That's a guy that really stood out today. Iggy, all through offseason, all through training, showed that he is going to be the guy that's going to lead this Michigan offense. Michigan went on a trip to Spain where they had multiple scrimmages, and in every one of those scrimmages, Brasdeikis was the leading scorer. So Iggy is going to be a pivotal player to this offense this year, and he showed an absolute great ability not only to shoot, but to be able to drive and finish around the rim. And he's going to be a player that's going to be electric all year for the Wolverines.
One thing that definitely needs to change for this Michigan team, and it's obviously just a product of hard work and repetition, is the free throws. They shot 9 for 13 today, which put them at a clip of 69.2%, just above what they shot last year at around 64%. Actually, out of all the college basketball teams in America, they were at the bottom of the 400 or so.
Yeah, that's not good for the Wolverines. If they want to win a regular season Big Ten championship this year, they have to improve from the free throw line. And that's one thing that hurt them a lot last year. A lot of games they had won, but they couldn't finish the game making free throws. So for the Wolverines to be a better team, they have to improve in the free throw line. Charles Matthews and especially Xavier Simpson have to improve their free throw shooting ability. Otherwise, it's going to be a lot of difficult games here for the Wolverines. But like you said, that's a product of hard work and repetition. They have to shoot 150, 200 free throws a day. You know, Matthews and Simpson, guys who struggled last year, they got to keep shooting those free throws. But with that being said, John Taskey is a guy who's shown that he can make a free throw. And that is big from the center spot. As I was saying earlier, a lot of college basketball teams and a lot of NBA teams take out their rim protector, take out their center because they can't shoot free throws. So it's great seeing a great free throw shooter at the center position for the Wolverines, John Taskey, who can stay late in games and continue to be a rim protector late in the game.
Something also I noticed for these Wolverines, a very underlooked performance tonight. Though he didn't get the nod in the starting lineup, Isaiah Livers, really whenever he came in, the energy sort of just changed as he would be throwing down dunks left and right. And he had a block or two and had a couple steals as well. I think his energy for the Wolverines tonight was really underlooked because he really didn't have the numbers on the stat line.
Yeah, exactly. He's a guy that's going to bring that electricity day in, day out. He's a guy who has tremendous leaping ability. Had about 4 alley-oops late in this contest. He's going to be a guy that's going to bring that electricity to this team in times when they need it. When the offense is slow, he's going to get that oop. He's going to get that great offensive rebound. He's going to make that extra effort play to get a steal in a critical situation. And that's something you look for in a role player. Livers isn't going to be the top scorer. He's not going to be the best defender. He's not going to lead in assists. He's not going to lead in rebounds. But he's a guy that can do everything collectively very well. And he's going to be a guy that's going to bring energy at times when Wolverines are desperately needing it.
Who would your 3 stars of the game be today?
Absolutely. The one player that we saw was Brazdeikis. He was the most electric player. Secondly, I'd probably have to say Jordan Poole. Poole looked like a player that's going to be able to create his own shot. He's going to be another pivotal player in this offense. And third, you got to give it to Charles Matthews. You got to give it to Isaiah Livers. As we said, he was a guy who brought the energy. He's a guy who had those alley-oop dunks. He's a guy that played good defense. He got a lot of good rebounds, got a lot of assists, a lot of steals. So Livers is the guy that's going to be an all-around player this year, and definitely Brazdeikis, Poole, and his best friend Livers are going to be the guys who deserve those 3 stars today.
I think I would maybe put John Teske in my 3 stars. He had 11 points, was 4 or 5 from the field, hit that big 3, and was perfect from the line. I mean, you can't really ask for more from your big man, especially hitting a 3 like that. If he's able to do that for the rest of the season, the Wolverines will certainly flourish in the Big Ten.
Absolutely. As we were saying, it's going to be easier to replace Mo Wagner if he can stretch the floor. That's an element that Michigan basketball team had last year that's very hard to defend. You have a guy in Mo Wagner who can stretch the floor and can dominate in the paint and outside the paint. So Michigan doesn't really have that element this year. If Teske can form that element, we're going to see these great offensive numbers that Michigan produced throughout the Big Ten tournament last year.
How do you think Michigan's going to look when they get their first big test this season in Villanova, I believe?
Villanova did lose a lot. They lost Mikal Bridges. They lost Jalen Brunson. They lost Dante DiVincenzo. So that's going to be an interesting game for the Wolverines. It's going to be a test early. Unfortunately, it's at Villanova. So it's going to be a tough game for the Wolverines to win. It's going to be a big test for these early freshmen to see if they can handle a situation in a hostile environment and if they can go and win a game against a team that they just lost the national championship to. But, games like that early, we schedule those games. Michigan schedules those games to get big wins and have opportunity to boost their resume come tournament time. So it's going to be an exciting and a good test for this Wolverines early on in the season.
Yeah, if you remember early last season, the Wolverines had a game against the UCLA Bruins, who at the time were supposed to be a team to look out for last year. And they had an overtime win in that game. That was really one of their big wins early on in the season.
Yeah, exactly. UCLA's big win. They game against North Carolina, they lost, but good test early on for these Wolverines.
Thank you for listening to 88.3 WCBN FM Ann Arbor. This has been a broadcast of Michigan basketball. I'm Charlie Goodwin. I've been broadcasting here with Andy Laidlaw, Alex Kramer, and Lucas Vargas. Good night and go blue.
Turn the knob down.